In this lesson, I'll show you 3 examples on how to find the reference angle for angles greater or less than plus minus 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. Keep in mind that the reference angle for any non-acute angle, meaning an angle greater than 90 degrees, is the positive acute angle, which we denote as theta prime, formed by the terminal side of theta and the x-axis. Let's start with question number 1. They say, find the reference angle for each of the following angles. Starting with A, we have theta is equal to 665. Given that this angle is in degrees, the trick to finding the reference angle for angles that are greater or less than 360 degrees is to find a coterminal angle between 0 and 360 degrees by adding or subtracting 360. So here we have 665, that's greater than 360, so let's subtract 360 from this and see where it takes us. 665 minus 360 gives us 305. If you locate 305 on a polar plane, that will be somewhere in the 4th quadrant. This is quadrant 4. And given that our terminal side is in quadrant 4, all we have to do is take 360, a full circle, and subtract from 305. This will give us our reference angle, which is 55 degrees. In question B, our angle is 15 pi over 4. 15 pi over 4 is clearly greater than 2 pi, because if this were an 8, it would be 2 pi. Since we have 15 pi over 4, what we have to do is subtract by 2 pi until we get to an angle that's between 0 and 2 pi. So if I subtract this from 2 pi, you can use your calculator to do this, or you can do it by hand. I'll show you by hand, just in case your teacher doesn't let you use your calculator. You find a common denominator, which is 4. You multiply 4 times 1, and you get 4. 1 times 15 pi is 15 pi, and 4 times negative 2 pi is negative 8 pi. This gives us 7 pi over 4. 7 pi over 4 is between 0 and 2 pi. In fact, if we were to locate this on a polar plane, 7 pi is 1/4 less than 8 pi. So we can tell that our terminal side will be once again in the 4th quadrant, and to find the reference angle, we take 2 pi minus 7 pi over 4, and we end up with pi over 4. This is our reference angle in radians. Finally, in question C, we have theta is equal to negative 11 pi over 3. This is less than 0, so obviously we will be adding 2 pi each time. We have negative 11 pi over 3 plus 2 pi. Let's see if this will get us an angle that's between 0 and 2 pi. Finding a common denominator, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 pi is 6 pi. And 1 times negative 11 is negative 11 pi. Negative 11 plus 6 is equal to negative 5 pi over 3. This is still not between 0 and 2 pi. So once again, I'll add another 2 pi to this. This gives me 6 pi plus negative 5 pi, and a common denominator is 3. Negative 5 plus 6 is 1. So we have pi over 3. Pi over 3 is an acute angle. In fact, it's equal to 60 degrees if you were to convert it into degrees. That, like I mentioned, is acute. It will be between 0 and pi over 2. This in itself is the reference angle. And there you have it. That is how to find the reference angle for angles greater or less than plus minus 360 degrees or 2 pi radians.